Hello and welcome to another Warhammer Wednesday video. In this video I will be reviewing Yvraine, and she comes from the Gathering Storm Part 2 Triumvirate of Ynnead box set. So she comes in this box set. The box set's £45 for the three models. One of the models is quite large though. So Yvraine, size-wise, let's just have a look. Compared to a Space Marine, yes, she definitely dwarfs a Space Marine. She is actually, a Space Marine is probably the same height as her bosom, probably a little bit shorter. So it just gives an idea of sort of how large models have become. Even the Jirinx is almost half the size of the Space Marine. So there you go. Models definitely have increased in size, I'd say, at this point compared to a custodian guard. It is, yeah, bit smaller, but obviously the headdress and things makes her seem a little bit taller. So there you go, size wise. The model itself can be a little bit tricky. There's a few tricky parts on the model. There's a fair few mould lines in between the headdress and around the bodysuit that you have to be wary of, and also on the Jirinx, the back sort of leg and the shoulder blades. Quite tricky to get the Jirinx in the right place too, and her looking at in the right direction. But the sort of flowing dress is lovely, and that's really going to benefit with you washing that purple and then picking out the highlights in the creases and folds in the dress, and picking out the gold on the bodysuit. So lovely model to build and create, and yeah, all these three Eldar models really will be an absolute joy to paint, and they'll take you many hours possibly, but they're going to really test out your colour palette. Not so much as sort of Harlequins, but still, you're going to be learning a lot painting these, I would have thought. So there you go, that's the model. So what I'll do now is I'll just talk about the rules for her. So Yvraine, according to the little codex, she will set you back 200 points. Quite expensive, but let's just go through her stat line. So her weapon skill and ballistic skill is 8. Now it's almost sort of Avatar skill level, that is. 8 weapon skill and 8 ballistic skill. Even though she doesn't have a weapon, you know, a ballistic weapon or a gun or anything like that. She just has close combat weapon and the artifact of Inari, which we'll talk about in a moment. So ballistic skill, weapon skill 8, strength, toughness and wounds are all 3. Her initiative is 8, very fast, and she's got 4 attacks, leadership 10, and her save is only 6+. However, straight away it goes on to say that she has this rune suit which confers a 4+ invulnerable save. She has a warlord trait, the Favoured of Ynnead. Special rules: Eternal Warrior, Fleet, Independent Character, Psych Mastery level 2, Strength from Death, and Stubborn. I've talked about Strength from Death in the Vizark review. Essentially, if a unit's completely destroyed within 7 inches of her, she would just repair a wound. She'll just get a wound back on a 4+. If a character is slain, then she'll just add an extra attack. So this Strength from Death, I mentioned it in the Vizark rule. Essentially, if a friendly unit within 7 inches of her is completely destroyed, she can create sort of like this soul burst action where she can move as if it was a movement phase and things like that. So sort of putting turns within turns, if that makes sense. And she's got Stubborn. So she's got a Jirinx familiar, which is this little kitty here, this little psychic type. At the start of her psychic phase, she can generate D3 extra warp charge points, and only she can use them. So that's quite useful, having the Jirinx there. She's got this Herald of Ynnead. Whenever an Eldari model is slain within 7 inches of a roll of 4+, she immediately regains a lost wound, and if the model was a Psyker, you add 1 to her mastery level, up to mastery level 4. So it's worth putting a few Psykers around, I would have thought, and then immediately generate another psychic power for her. it's a different sort of take on the Visarch's champion of Ynnead, her being the Herald of Ynnead, whereby the champion gets his wound, but if it's a character, gets an extra attack. With the Herald of Ynnead, she gets this wound, but if it's a psyker, she also gets this buff to her psychic abilities. She generates powers from Demonology, Sanctic, and Revenant disciplines, and her sword there is the Kavir, the Sword of Sorrows. It adds +1 to her strength, so she's only strength 4, so she's not probably going to be wounded on 4s or even 5s. But it is an AP3 sword, and it does have instant death. So you mainly get a 50-50 or worse chance at wounding something with the sword, but if you do wound, and remember she's got the 4 attacks, 5 if she charges, they're going to be a bit scuppered with the old instant death, especially if they're multi-wound characters or something like that. So there you go. They're all the sort of like little rules for her. I think she is quite expensive. I mean, obviously to take her and the Visarch is going to be 350 points. If you want to take the Incarn as well, it's going to be 625 points. So it's a huge point sink into your army for things that just... well, she has her invulnerable 4+, the Visarch has a 3+ normal, and obviously the Incarn being a demon, I think he'd get a 3+ invulnerable, I would assume. No one corrected me on that, so in the Codex look, so I think that's still correct. Anyway, lovely little model, lovely addition. You can definitely see the sort of Dark Eldar coming out of this model. From the sword to the ornate headdress, even to the bodysuit, it definitely has some feelings of Dark Eldar in there. And it's a lovely model. It's just lovely to get a new, I say Eldar type model for the army. I haven't had any new Eldar models for ages. Maybe I should start increasing my army. So anyway, that's the end of my review. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.